On this episode of Pimp My Setup, we're going to be talking about your setups you submitted for tips, tricks, feedback, and much more. So if you're interested in that, then sit back, relax, and interact because the show starts
now.
It's time for the original setup show dedicated to providing you with tips, tricks, and feedback to pimp out your setup. Hosted by Matt Philly with new special guests every week. Coming at you live in 3, 2, 1.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Pimp My Setup, episode number 54, recorded live on October 7th, 2015. My name's Matt Philly. You can follow me on Twitter at Matt Philly.
And I'm Nate Mooskies. You can find me pretty much everywhere at nmooskies, and it'll be in the description because it's kind of hard to spell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I honestly, if I had to spell it, I would not know how to spell it. So
nobody.
Yeah. I can imagine your life has been full of people spelling your last name wrong all the time.
Oh, one of the greatest pleasures in life is the grocery store when they try and say like, "Thank you, Mr. Mooskies," and they can't say it at all on the receipt. It's the best.
Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, guys, go check out all of his links are going to be down below in the description. And if he looks familiar, it's because he is. He was in episode 50, the community episode, and he was the last person to go. And also, he had a really nice beard, which now is gone. So if he does look a little bit different, it's because of that. So, you know, but the mustache is good. It compensates for that, so it's all good. All right, so what we're going to do today is obviously look over setups, provide tips, tricks, and feedback to make them better because a lot of these really need those tips and tricks. So starting off with the first one, we're going to go back to the guessing the age game since we're on the normal episodes of Pimp My Setup. So let's see how you do. The first setup submitted by Ryan. How old do you think Ryan is?
I mean, not to offend anybody that is a big Minecraft fan, but I'm guessing he's a little bit younger since he has a big poster of that. So I would say probably around like 15 or so.
I mean, that makes sense, but he is 18. So
crap.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
No, it makes sense because Minecraft normally it's like a younger thing, but
I know Jay's 2 Cents plays it too, so I mean that was kind of the outlier there.
Yeah, you should have known. He could have been like 35 or something.
Gosh.
So yeah, let's see what he said. He said, "This is nothing crazy. I have 2 BenQ monitors hooked up to my custom-built PC, my Xbox 360, PS4. He used Velcro and the IKEA Signum to cable manage everything, and he has some tubes to bunch the cables together. And oh, by the way, he paid for everything himself because people have the tendency to say that.
Good for him.
Yeah, and let's see, FYI, the left screen looks weird because I haven't adjusted the screen size on my PC. Okay, so just in case you thought it looked weird, now you know. So taking a look at this, right off the bat, I'm just going to say cable management, great job. Really, see, IKEA Signum, Velcro, cable tubing, all that stuff comes together, really makes it work. But overall, what are your main thoughts on this?
I personally would have liked if the sub was pushed off to one side just because like that single cable's not that bad, but when you put the cable management like grommet thing around it, it makes it more obvious. And I think if it was just pushed off to one of the edges, you could hide it down the table leg a little bit better. But overall, I mean, his cable management looks really good.
Yeah. So here's my point of view on the usability factor, because when I look at this, I don't think it's a bad setup, but it seems as if the left monitor isn't like the primary, like as if he's using the right one, you know, most of the time. So I don't like that he has it. I don't know. It doesn't look like he's sitting in the middle of it. It still looks like the left one's too much to the left, and he needs to either put the right one dead in the center and the left one completely tilted like 45 degrees, or he needs to just put, you know, the bezel right smack dab in the middle. Do you think that makes sense, or am I just crazy?
It makes sense. I mean, because for me, I have dual monitors, and I'm looking directly at one, and then I kind of have my second one off to the side, and it looks like he's definitely staring into like the butt crack of the monitors.
Yeah, which, I mean, for me, like, I am kind of technically staring into the butt crack, but the reason is because they're ultra wide, so it's the equivalent of having basically 3 monitors. Plus the bezels are like non-existent. But in this scenario, it's like you got to choose: are you going to sit in the middle, or are you going to have that primary display? If so, you should really set it up that way. But I think that really, I love how neat the left side is. How you have that little tray that has the computer, it has your consoles, your controllers. You have the storage bin to the right side, which means your out of sight, out of mind is just like 10 out of 10 for me, like in terms of where everything is. Now, my last critique for this would really be the walls. Like, you have that Minecraft poster, but, and yes, whatever that is on the right side, I don't know what that is.
I think it's a Walking Dead comic.
Okay, yeah. See, I'm not a comic guy, but why not put more comics? Why not fill up that a little bit more, put some personality throughout? Because overall, this could technically be anybody's setup that likes Minecraft. Why not make it a little bit more of Ryan's setup? Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have any final thoughts for Ryan?
I think as far as accessories goes, it was pretty dope, but he's got the really nice, I think it's a headphone stand by his left speaker. I just kind of wanted to see what headphones he had. Yeah, because since he's got the display for it, and most of the time they're just like thrown on the desk anyway. But overall, I think it's a really clean setup. I think I have a similar desk, but in black, so I'm a fan of the desk.
Yeah, it's very clean. I like the color scheme going throughout. So yeah, now let's go on to the next setup. Next setup is submitted by Daniel, and Daniel, how old do you think he is?
I'm gonna say Daniel is 19.
19. Wow. See, this is really weird because he's like, it's almost the opposite. He's 14.
Well, the gun throws me off.
Yeah. Which I know the chat's gonna explode by saying gun. It's an ongoing thing here. But it looks pretty cool there, and I would assume that it's airsoft, right? I'm not.
I have no idea.
I hope it is. Otherwise, how'd you get that? But the setup I like because it's so simple, and I mean, it is kind of empty, which for some people they would like that, but for me it might be just a little bit too empty, especially on the left side. But I do like that you have like the Breaking Bad poster, you have the LEDs that just really work nicely. I like the shelf at the top, you know, even though it's not full all the way yet, it still looks great. It's a nice way to organize everything, and your cable management, from what I can see, looks pretty good. What do you think about the setup overall?
Yeah, I think it's really nice, especially for being as young as he is. Kind of having this clean of a setup, it's pretty nice. I think having extra space on the desk probably comes in handy when he has to do homework and maybe spread books and stuff out. But there's one thing that really bugged me, and it's the fact that there's a PS Vita on the wall above his monitor.
That's his second display, man.
I don't know what it's for. Like that would go better on the bookshelf than like double stick tape to the wall.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. That's weird.
That's my only real weird gripe about it. But otherwise, it's a really clean room overall. And I think I'd be happy to have that when I was 14.
Oh yeah. For his age, I mean, this is like really nice. And what I love is in his email, he wrote a lot in his email, which is why I'm not really like gonna read the whole thing, because I mean it's literally, he wrote like a whole story. But he said the tank on the left side is for his turtle Stevie, who watches him play video games all day in one hope of becoming a Ninja Turtle. And I just thought that was so weird and funny. I was like, yeah, I might as well read that on the show. And
definitely 14.
Yeah, and I think that he actually said something about the PSP. Let me see here. There's a lot of words. It's the PSP 1000, and he has it there. He said it's his first real game console. So I guess it's supposed to be like, you know, hey, this is my first game console. Let me show it off, kind of thing.
Weird.
Yeah, but I definitely agree. It should just go on like the shelf because you still show it off. You just don't need to have it mounted to your wall like that. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
But all right, let's go to the next setup. Next setup is submitted by Braden, and Braden is how old?
I'm going to say Braden. Well, okay, so I see a strongbow on the left, and that's a hard cider. So he's at least 21. I'm going to say he's 22.
So close. 23.
Oh!
Yeah. You had the right idea, though. See, you know, using those detective skills to kind of get the age. But yeah, this is honestly one of my favorite setups. Mainly for the Star Wars. I think that the way he put the stormtroopers throughout and whatnot looks dope. And let's see, he said he's a college student. He loves gaming, music production, and he's a huge Star Wars fan. And let's see, he's wrote a lot of stuff. The NES was painted white and black and has been modified with a USB hub on the right side, and a tray built into where the cartridges go is where it holds all the USB drives. Wow.
Oh, that's really cool. Because I was going to say it's sacrilege to have a monitor on an NES like that, but that makes a lot more sense.
That is actually an awesome idea.
Yeah.
I love that. That's really cool. Now, we have another photo which kind of shows us the left side. The cable management's not terrible. It's not bad at all, actually. Especially if you're looking from far away, you're not going to see any cables underneath other than that one strand, which I think that's Tech Flex. I don't know exactly. But I know that it is some cable housing, which looks interesting. And that's kind of what you were saying before, the subwoofer like to one side.
Yeah, it's a little bit better, but now since he has the red sheathing on it, it draws more attention than if it was black.
Yeah.
But it sort of goes along with his theme. And the one thing that I liked in the second picture, if you look where the Stormtrooper helmet is, it's tilted back, and he actually stores his microphone under there, which is a pretty cool little spot to hide it at.
Ooh, that's actually pretty cool. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So for out of sight, out of mind, I think that's a pretty cool way to have your accessories hiding other peripherals.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really like that. I like the theme here because this is what I always talk about on episodes. Like, he doesn't even have that much, but you can tell it's personal because he's got whatever that is on the what is that? I can't read what that logo is on the back
poster.
Wall. Yeah.
I don't know, but it seems too low. Someone said that in the chat. Like, if you're gonna have a poster, like, put it up to where your monitor's not blocking all the action on it.
Yeah. Plus, he has the space for it.
Yeah.
Which is another part that's weird. So if he did move it up, that would look even better. But I like that he has that. He has the Star Wars poster on the top right, some Stormtrooper stuff, the NES, the car that's on top of the PC. He just really, puts himself into the setup. Now, one thing I don't like is, the headphones. We were just talking about this before. Yeah. The guy had a headphone stand with no headphones. This guy has a headphone with no headphone stand. So I would like to see these displayed somewhere or hooked onto the desk or something like that, just so it's out of sight. And I'd like the side station for your laptop. Usability is probably great because you just rotate and you're there. But overall, what do you have to say about this setup?
I like it a lot. I think it's fairly simplistic, but it's also very nice. I think that Braden should send Ryan an email and get that headphone stand for him, like you were saying. But I think it's cool. I don't know where his other speaker is. It's probably just on the very edge of the desk there. But overall, I think that it's super clean. And most of the wires that we see are just for like the hard drives and stuff that have to kind of stay on top of the desktop anyway.
Yeah. Oh, and someone was saying he should try to put the headphones on the Stormtrooper. Yeah, if it doesn't expand it out too much.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Nicely, that would look cool. Because then you have your headphones and your microphone right there. I mean, that would be pretty cool.
Who is that guy? Let's get that guy hosting. He's doing a better job than I am.
Yeah, Chris Tupas, you take over. I'm going to call you on Skype right now. All right, let's go to the next setup. Next setup is submitted by a fellow Matt. Now, looking at this, how old do you think Matt is?
I'm going to say Matt is 23.
Interesting. I was expecting you to say younger. But yeah, he's actually 31.
Wow. It's got to be the Scarface poster.
Oh, true. Yep. I can see that now. I actually didn't realize what that was at first. That's sad. So taking a look at this right away, honestly, cable management, although it's not, visually, it may not seem perfect 10 out of 10, he really kept it into one specific location, which on that kind of desk is pretty hard to do because we look at the right side, we do see him coming out of the LG monitor just a little bit, but that's not really a big deal because they're not drooping down, but they all kind of come together in that one corner. So you get something like a cable raceway, something to just kind of hold the power strip and all that stuff together. But for that kind of desk, what do you think about its cable management?
I had this desk or one similar to it. It's a glass top, so you're going to see the cables for the most part underneath it anyway. But what I did when I had it was I had my PC up on the corner where it looks like he might have two computers, but the upper computer, I had mine there, and I ran all my cables down one of those cable legs to a power strip on the floor, which I think would clean it up because he kind of has everything just kind of hovering all in that corner right there.
Yeah, so that is a good way. It does look like he has two PCs because he's got like an Acer tower on the bottom and then a BitPhoenix on top.
I think it's BitPhoenix, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what he's using both for, but I would try to find something out to fix that. Now, my main concern with this setup has to be the monitor on the left side because I don't see the use in that. I mean, I do see my face on it, so I kind of see the use in it. But at the end of the day, it's, is that just stationary? It's just going to be there because you can play a video on it, and as you're working around, it's just there and you're not really putting all your like attention on it.
It seems incredibly inconvenient no matter what. I mean, even if you're gonna throw like another video up on it while you're gaming or something, like at least make it to where you don't have to turn, you know, halfway around to see what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I get it if you were if it had like speakers built in that you use to play music, but I mean that's not even that nice of a monitor. That's kind of old school. So
old 4x3, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see the reasoning behind that, but maybe you could tell me why. I do like that the games are there and neat. Maybe it's a little overwhelming for some people, but if you do have to access those a lot, it is a good space. Technically, if it was mine, I would probably get a storage bin like we saw in one of the earlier setups, and I would throw all of it in there. But like I said, if you're using those on a daily basis, then I can see the point in that. But what do you think about the games being right there?
Well, I was trying to figure out if they were like Xbox games, and it looks like all the logos on them are for like games for Windows games. So they're computer games. So once they're on your computer, you don't need to have them within arm's reach anymore. Like put those in a closet somewhere, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And that's going to free up a whole lot more desk space where, you can put more personality, like the pop figurine or some of the other stuff. But the games to me, put books or something else that you're actually going to need to reference more often than installation CD.
Yeah. The other thing I was gonna say, what was it? The headphones. What do you think of them being right there? Do you think? I don't think it's a big deal. Do you think it's a big deal?
I don't. I don't know what kind they are. I wonder if they're wireless and they're just kind of whatever, and you throw them over there. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. For me, I mean, most of the time when I'm at my computer, they're gonna be on my head anyway.
Yeah.
So for the picture, I think it's okay. But headphone stand is of course always gonna look better.
Yeah. I'm trying to see what else, because this is a pretty. When you take away the games and the wires, it's a very simple setup.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to it. I don't think you really have that much work to do to make it, the perfect setup. I think it really just comes down to, clean up that left side, clean up the wires, and then really you're there in terms of how it looks. Any final thoughts from?
No. I think we've kind of covered everything. There's not much to this one other than what we've already talked about.
Awesome. All right. So the next setup is submitted by Henry. And Henry's photo is broken into two because I think he's in such a tight spot that he couldn't actually get the underneath in one photo. So we have this photo and then we have underneath. So you can see just one stray cable really on the left side other than that right one, which is basically hidden. So Henry, how old do you think he is?
I'm going to say Henry is 17.
17? You ready for this? Henry is 11 years old.
All right, guys. I'll see you later, okay?
Yeah. But he didn't say he bought it all himself. He just said he was 11. This is his setup. So,
okay.
Normally you would expect him to be like, yeah, dude, I work 9 to 5. I picked this stuff up myself. But no, he didn't say that. He just said he's 11. And it blows my mind. I'm going to let you take this one. What do you want to say about this setup?
Well, I got a lot of heat on the last setup I judged because it was a Mac and I'm a big PC guy. So my big question is why the triple monitors where you're obviously not, probably playing any serious games since you've got the TV up top with the Xbox One controller. I'm guessing he plays most of his games up there.
Yeah.
I don't see like headphones. It doesn't look like it's a gaming oriented setup. So like what are you doing at 11 years old that you need 3 monitors for?
Schoolwork, man. No, I'm just kidding.
I guess.
Yeah, the 3 monitors does throw me off, especially since it is a Mac. And trust me, guys, I have an eye shrine behind me. Like I started off as the Mac guy, and now I'm both, mainly PC. And you're definitely, like you were saying, you're not playing any PC games because you're on a Mac. So what is the triple monitor going to give you that is really worth it? Like he was just saying before, are you on pushing out Excel spreadsheets across triple monitors and you're like running all these numbers, doing crazy things? Like probably not. So it's just, it's a little weird, especially since you have that TV above. It's like a lot of real estate for, games or whatever the case may be. So
yeah. And it looks like those are BenQ monitors. So those, I mean, more often than not, BenQ is known for gaming monitors. So yeah. I'm just a little confused by the whole thing. Yeah, if I was 11, I mean, what, iTunes, iPhoto, and Pages? Like, what are you using all 3 for?
Yeah, have Facebook, the friend feed up on one screen. You got your Twitter, But yeah, I also think that the shelf is a little weird. I don't see it being that big of an issue, but I would honestly imagine having the TV lower and then possibly a shelf above if there was enough room, because I don't know how big the TV is. It doesn't look like it's that big of a TV. But do you find the shelf a little weird right there?
Sort of, because I feel like you had to take a notch out of it to be able to have the cable running through it.
Yeah.
Somebody actually just said in chat that they own this setup and they use it for like video editing, and they're studying video editing, which I guess would make some sense.
Yeah, with Mac.
Yeah, with the Mac. So I'll give him a little bit of credit then. I think it was a girl too. Was it a girl?
Well, it says Henry. Is Henry a...
Then the person in chat's a liar.
Yeah, because I don't think Henry is a girl's name. I don't know. Is it a thing? Maybe I'm just uneducated.
A Henrietta. I don't know.
Yeah. All I know is that if you are doing video editing and stuff like that, then awesome. You know, at least, you know, go for it. Try to make it a thing. Oh, man, the chat. I asked some questions, and I'm like, I probably shouldn't read the answers. But yeah, I think overall, you know, it's really visually, it's a very appealing setup. I would like to see some. I think there's LEDs. I don't really know, but I would love to see just like LEDs behind the TV and all 3 monitors and just like glow the whole thing if you're into that. But yeah, any final thoughts for Henry?
No, it's whatever. It's a back.
Okay, let's go to the next setup submitted by Ken. Now, you guys, most of you probably know that I hate portrait photos, but if you take a look at this photo, you're gonna see that I definitely need a portrait photo in order to see what is even happening here, because look at that. How small is that room? I mean,
I'd feel so claustrophobic all the time in that.
Yeah, so he's another one that wrote, you know, basically, I mean, just so much about him. But before we get into a little bit more about him, how old do you think he is?
I'm guessing he's a homeowner. There's whiskey out. I think that's whiskey. There's a shot glass. So I'm going to say he's 31.
Dude, he's 31 years old. How did you get that? That was dead on. And he's been married for 8 years. He has 2 kids. He bought a house, built a kick-ass gaming room, which was taken over by his kids. So that's kind of what happened.
That's what I was going to say. This is what he got left with. And he's just making do.
You know what? He's basically in a media closet. I think that's what he's saying here in his email. If you guys want, I'll probably put this whole description I'll put this description in the description. It's description in the description. So I'll put all of that so you can read it and learn a little bit more about him and why he's in this tight space and things like that. But another thing I want to point out is all the artwork on the wall is actually done by him, which is very cool. He said he doesn't, I'm pretty sure he said he doesn't do the coloring. He just draws it. So I think that's one of the things that he does, which is very cool. I mean, talk about personality. I mean, that's his work right there on his wall, which is awesome. Now, what are your thoughts on how he utilized such a small space?
I think he did. I don't really know how much more you could cram on that little counter. I don't know where the tower is. I don't know if it's like a small PC that's like on the back of one of the screens, because there's no computer anywhere.
Yeah.
But I think he did about as good a job as you could with, you know, looks like 24 inches of counter space to work with.
Yeah, it's crazy because he has an ultra wide sitting there. I mean, he really utilized the space, and you know, that's the other thing is what is that, a John Max book? I don't know what it is.
I don't know. I think it says 3ds Max, so it's probably some graphic design thing. I admittedly know nothing about that.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. In the second photo, when I zoomed in, it looked so pixelated. It looked like it said John, but yeah, in the first photo, it definitely says 3ds Max. So I think that's like a 3D animator of some sorts. But
the weird thing is, it looks like he's using the small monitor as his primary. Like, that's where all the icons are, which is kind of strange.
Yeah, maybe he just brings over like his work on.
Yeah.
But it's okay, maybe because he has all the brush palettes on the left side, but he uses the right side fully for the actual graphic. You know,
I think
that probably makes the most sense. And I mean, the ultra wide for that kind of stuff is perfect. So I honestly I really like this, which is the weird thing. Like, I think if I was older and I had this room, I would definitely do the same thing if I had no other choice.
Oh, absolutely. This is me in like 4 years. I'm going to get just slowly downsized to a closet somewhere in the house.
Which I think, although, like, I agree, I would probably be like, all right, this is a little too small for me. I also think it would be a good place to go and just, like, think and kind of have alone time, and then, you know, you're back into, like, that door is literally the door to reality. It's like, okay, out of my little zone back into the real world. So it is an interesting setup. I like how he utilized it. Some people might think that there's a little bit too much on the wall in terms of like artwork and things like that on the left side, the frames. But when it's your work, I think that it's freaking awesome. I really like it. So any final thoughts from?
I just wonder why the pictures on the left aren't actually hung on the wall and they're just like on the shelf.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
he switches them out. I don't know.
Like, because it looks like that's a very thin shelf.
Yeah.
Meant to hold up for, I don't know actually, but I'm sure in his email he probably made mention because it's a very long email. But
got it.
All right, let's go to the next setup. Next setup is submitted by Dean, and Dean actually had a similar situation in I mean, it is a bigger room, but he doesn't have enough space to even capture it in one photo. So I think we have, what do we have, 4 photos from him?
Yeah, there's 4 of them.
So we got this photo, this photo, this photo, and then this photo. That way we can see cable management, and we kind of just make sense of the space that he has. Now, how old do you think he is?
I'm going to say he is 24.
Close. He's 20. So okay, guys, I want to see what people have to say because it is a very interesting setup. I think what really confuses me is that he has a couch, because if the couch wasn't there, he could probably redo the whole layout and by that I mean like putting the desk against that the wall with the window and utilizing that whole space. But the couch, what are your thoughts on the couch? Doesn't it like mess everything up?
Yeah, if you look at the second picture he sent, like you can see the arm of the couch sticking out to where you almost have to like step over it to get to the actual desk. And I'm guessing it's for when he plays games. I think they saw an Xbox One controller for when he plays games on the TV. He probably sits on the couch. But I feel like he could even still rotate the desk a little bit and then be able to walk right up to it.
Yeah, it's hard because I mean, I love that he's got all those graphics cards. So he's got a lot going on. He seems like he has a lot of hobbies. He's got like a recycle bin of Pepsi cans and toolboxes and really just a lot of different things going on. His desk has a lot of things on it. He's got a shelf on the far shot. On the left side that's full of boxes. I mean, tons and tons. So much artwork on every single wall. I mean, this guy really wanted to use every single little inch of his room. And for him and more people probably are going to enjoy that. For me, it's a little too much. And I would completely redo everything. And I think if you were to move your desk, you can still keep the couch there, and I'll be interested to see how that kind of works out. But if not, why not just get like, you know, more chairs or a beanbag or something just to kind of chill and play games and keep your entertainment center where it is. I mean, if this was your room, what would you do to it?
Yeah, the shelf in the I think it's the last picture or the first picture, I would actually, it looks like the shelf is just holding empty boxes. Why not just get rid of the shelf and the empty boxes, and then you'll be able to slide the couch down and actually have room for both of them.
Actually makes sense. Oh man. See, I wish we had the view of the opposite side. You know what I mean?
Because we don't know how long the room is.
Yeah, because that might be like right to the door.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I definitely agree that might actually work very well, Dean. Let's see, what else did he say? He really didn't tell us anything, which is why it's like it's hard for us to critique. So hopefully Dean can tell us a little bit more, maybe in a follow-up tweet or comment or something like that, to kind of just, you know, share his reasoning behind, you know, why he has it in this layout.
There's definitely a lot of personality, and I think as far as his cable management goes, on the 4th picture of his PC under the desk, you can see that he has like a black cloth draped down. Yeah. Which I think is a quick and dirty way to just hide a lot of those cables and make it look really, really clean. And I like his case. I'm a huge fan of the Air 540. I have the smaller version myself.
Yeah, that looks sick. And some people are saying like he has it on carpet. If you look closely, it's
It's
actually
on wood.
not. Yeah. And man, that case is huge and it looks so nice. And like, that is something I would want to show off. If I had a sick build in there, like that's something I want to show off, not have buried into the corner where no one is going to see it.
Yeah.
So,
And the thing that's cool about that case actually is it has the 2 different chambers. So his power supply is not actually sucking in air from the bottom. It's pulling in from the right-hand side, which is up against that cloth there.
yeah.
So he could probably just leave it on the carpet and it's not going to impact anything.
Yeah. So, and I do, and people are probably wondering my thoughts on that kind of cable management. You know, it's not cable management, quote unquote, but it's like cable magic because behind there, it probably looks like hell. And I doubt he has everything nicely Velcroed and everything back there. I'm sure it looks like hell, but hey, man, if a normal person looked at that, they would be like, damn, your cable management's great. So props to him. But let's go to the next setup. Next setup is submitted by Dan. How old do you think Dan is?
I'm going to say Dan is in his 30s as well. I'm going to say Dan is 32.
Very close. He's 30. Which, this is crazy. This is probably the first episode where the majority have been older than like teenagers, which is a big deal. So this picture's a little blurry, but it's a very simple setup. There's not much going on, if anything at all, really. It's, you know, the second photo is weird, and I'll get to that in a second, but he basically said, let's see, he's currently working 2 jobs, one that pays the bills, and then he has a esports company, which is very cool. I think that's awesome. He moved his setup from the bedroom to an extra room. So I guess this is, but I see a bed. Maybe it's like a guest
room.
Yeah, something like that. But I could tell his wife, his girlfriend was probably like, you know, you got to get this out of here, as most of them would say that. But I think overall, it's like, is there really anything going on here? It looks like executive, like a normal office.
Yeah, it looks like any like if I was to go to my parents' house or my grandpa's house and like see his computer setup, like if it wasn't for the headphones, I'd be like, yeah, that's grandpa's computer. There's just, I feel like, yeah, and if this was the master bedroom, he's like 6 months away from getting put in the closet where Ken's computer's at. Like I could not play video games next to my wife. I would get kicked immediately. But it sounds like he's already been evacuated to the guest room.
Yeah.
But there's just, I mean, I couldn't even tell you what his favorite color is.
Yeah, exactly. There's it's like one of those generic desks that you can go buy at like a, you know, a furniture store. Not even like a Staples, like a furniture store. That's the kind of look it is. And I mean, really the only thing, like you said, is the headphones, and then I would say like the keyboard because of the backlit LEDs. And that is literally it. The right display, I think, is actually doing more harm than good on the visual side of things. I'm sure if you need it for your workflow and things like that, that's fine because you are doing, you know, you're working, you're doing your company and things like that. But I think really what you should just do is, if you're planning on keeping it super simple, you know, get one nice display, whether it's like an ultra wide or just something to replace those two, fill up that one spot nicely, and just stick to that simplicity. I mean, it is just a little too simple for me, but some people do like that, and it makes it easier for them to work. And the last thing I would say is, you have a pretty dope looking PC case that has a little window. Why not have some LEDs in there with the red? You have that red headphone. Why not keep that red going? What do you think about that?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it just dawned on me, like, if this guy's running an esports company, like, he should have a dope ass setup. Like, you should have personality on the wall, like, have your branding. I don't care if it's a guest room, like, take that over. You know, if budgeting is an issue with replacing that monitor, like, paint the bezel, get a $30 dual monitor stand on Amazon and throw them on there. It's going to make it look so much better. And then but definitely throw some personality in here, especially if you're involved in esports.
That is like such a good point, because if you are in esports, you should have one of those gaming chairs, hands down. That's just like one of the generic things that every esports person has. And I definitely agree. Like, throw your branding up, do all that stuff. That's a really good point. And I think that even if it is a guest room, like he was just saying, do it. You know what? When your guest stays over, they'll be like, damn, that's cool. You got a really cool company, man. And then boom, it's all good. So, oh, and by the way, what I was going to say about the duct tape, blue painter's tape at the bottom of the desk, it's because of his cats. So it's to prevent them from playing with the cable. I don't know. So it looks weird. I probably wouldn't do that personally, but I guess if your cats are being little bitches, I would do that too. So,
or get rid of the cats, get dogs.
Yeah, I am a dog person, so I would recommend dogs. All right, let's go to the next and final setup submitted by Zeno. Is that what you would say? Zeno?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that works. Yeah. How old do you think he is?
I'm going to say he is 15.
Wow. You could have ended the show on a high point, but you completely failed. He's 63. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
he's 18. So
okay.
You were close. This setup, now, I mean, this setup is just, I think, let me just read what he said first. He said he uses this setup for homework, gaming, a little bit of Photoshop, and browsing the internet. Wink, wink. He didn't actually wink, but I'm going to assume that's what he's talking about. The shoebox underneath the desk is to get the pedals of the wheel closer to the chair, and he's planning to make or buy a headset stand, and he's gonna get a Signum, and he's gonna upgrade his monitors when he finally gets cash. But for now, this is what he's working with. So, with that in mind, what are your initial thoughts on the whole setup?
It seems like a lot of good ideas just poorly executed. Like he's got the racing wheel and stuff, but like if you're not using it, put it away somewhere else where it's not so, just dangling cables everywhere. I would say get like a USB hub, put it under your desk, and then you can get rid of all those front panel USBs that are dragging all over the place. That was one of the big things. And then put the subwoofer on the floor. It's not going to do you anything to your desk when it's up there.
Yeah, I agree. The subwoofer was the first thing. Like when I looked at the setup, the first thing that I saw was the subwoofer.
Yeah.
Definitely not the ideal placement for that. And I agree. Like the wheel, that shouldn't be on the floor. The USB hub, that's a great idea. And the other thing is, I think there's another setup that kind of actually, you know what? This works. It's just weird with the monitor stand. See how he chose the middle display as his primary, and he has a left one to kind of just go there. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time. Maybe it's because there's so many wires going across the desk. It's a very confusing setup. The speaker placement is also making it a little bit weird for me. I mean, ideally it's in the best possible placement for his ears with the way the monitors are set up, but it's still, I don't know, it looks very thrown together very fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think like the most obvious wire that's snaking across his desk, it looks like it goes to his headphones. So why not, like, if just put your headphones next to the computer and like not have the wire going across it, especially if you're going to send a picture in to get critiqued.
Yeah, I would definitely put the like a headphone hook on the left side, something like that. Just get it out of the way, because I mean, it's really, those little things will completely change the look. And I know I always get crap for being like more of an aesthetics kind of person. Trust me, usability is a thing. I want this to be a functional setup for you. If this works, if you like that crazy environment, then keep it. But for me personally, I think if it looks good visually, it's probably that much better when you're doing work, because this is just overkill with the amount of things you have going on. So, final thoughts on this setup? Anything else?
I'd say send us a couple updated pictures when you get all those, to-do list items taken care of. I think it has potential. I mean, he's got the red LEDs backlighting that looks cool. I just think if he, cleaned everything up, it looks like everything was kind of done halfway.
Yeah, I agree. It totally looks like he just drew it together today because, he was at a friend's house and he had all of his things and he just wants the game. So definitely make it look like it's going to be there for a while, not just for the next week or so. But there you go. Those are all the setups. And now is the part of the show, I can't speak English today, where we are going to give the scores. Now, again, we said this already, but all of these setups have the potential to get 100, but none of them did because they all have a lot. Yeah, they all have a lot of things that they need to get fixed. But as you can see, the last setup that we just saw, that could easily get like a 90 with just simple fixes. So keep that in mind when we say these scores. So here we go. First setup, Ryan, he walks away with a 77. Daniel, he's got a 75. Braden's got a 76. Matt has a 55. Henry has a 65. Ken has a 64. Dean has a 69. Let's see. Dan has a 46. And Zeno or whatever your name is has a 67, which again can easily be a 90. So how do you feel about the scores? Do you think that they're pretty accurate?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, in a lot of the episodes, there's usually like one clear standout winner or like two top dogs. These guys were all kind of like middle of the pack guys, you know, pretty good setups. They're working with what they have, but definitely nothing super insane.
Yeah. So first place Ryan, and then third place Braden, which they were literally there was 77, 76, and 75, which the 75 was for Daniel. So the first three, they're all, you know, neck to neck. So very interesting turnout, very interesting setups overall, an interesting episode. And Nate, thanks for coming on, man. Definitely someone I'm gonna have on again, because a lot of things he said, I was like, you know what? That's actually something I should have thought of. So thanks for coming on. Make sure you check him out down below. All of his links are going to be there. And until next time, thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you on the Flippity Flop.